Now, we all remember the infamous reveal of a zombified Sophia stumbling out of the barn in Season 2, Episode 7, titled Pretty Much Dead Already. And I think this is the exact moment that people realise no one is truly safe within this show. In today's video, I'm going to be going over why this moment was so pivotal and how it impacted the story forever. Now, the first point I would like to go over is Hindsight. The Walking Dead concluded its 11 seasons in 2021, and when I announced I would be making this video, I had a lot of comments saying, well, no one's safe except Rick, Daryl, Michonne and Carol, and many more along those lines. But I would like you all to cast your minds back to 2011, when Season 2 of the show was just airing. It was a time in which the iPhone 4 had just been released and Shaquille O'Neal still played in the NBA. And it was a time in the show where fans truly believed characters like Andrea, Carl and Dale were all destined to beat this post-apocalyptic world. We all know now that these characters would all meet their demises, some a lot sooner than others. But my point is, these characters were all seen as untouchable at some point during the show, and that was largely due to their comic book counterparts. But these are characters that no one expected to die at some point or another, and if we take our hindsight glasses off, then these deaths were all massively unexpected. And even characters who did survive, such as Rick, truly had moments where we thought they were really going to die. For example, when Andrew Lincoln left the show to spend more time with his family, the whole fan base were in full-on tears as Rick blew up that bridge in Season 9, and I know for a fact that leading up to this episode, the majority of fans thought this was the end of Rick Grimes, only for the writers to fake us out. My point is that this show was never scared of killing off its main characters, at least in the early seasons, and in some cases these deaths were shocking and worked really well, and in others, they caused the series to fall off a cliff. Because I flow! But that's besides the point. All the twists and turns, the highs and lows within this series originate from this very death in Season 2. Sophia's death made everyone realise that this show wasn't messing around, and no one was truly safe. Sophia went missing at the start of Season 2, and the group's efforts to find her lasted for several episodes. The characters and the audience held on to hope that she would be found alive, especially since it was a major plotline and her belongings kept popping up throughout the woods. The extended search and the group's determination to find her made it seem as if the show was building towards a hopeful resolution. However, when she walked out of Herschel's barn as a walker, it was not only shocking but truly harrowing. And it was a brutal reminder that even innocent children were not safe from the apocalypse. It was a move that most other shows would have avoided, but this bold and shocking decision opened fans' eyes and introduced us to the brutality of The Walking Dead. Up until this point, the show hadn't killed off any significant characters, and especially not a child. Sophia's death shattered the idea that anyone was immune to the dangers of the apocalypse, no matter how innocent or beloved. This exact moment marked a tonal shift within the series, reinforcing the idea that the show would not shy away from tragedy or harsh realities. It set the stage for the unpredictability and the frequent character deaths that would become a hallmark of The Walking Dead. And from this point forward, the show was never the same. The tone shifted from a happy reunion at the end of Season 1 to a much darker tone for Season 2. We now had themes of grief, murder and dictatorship embroidered into all of our characters, and the longer the show goes on, the less hope and goodness in the world there is. It's a story of the collapse of civilization and the brutality of humans when you strip them down to the bare basics. And these themes are all introduced into the show directly through the death of Sophia. Although Sophia's death was shocking and brutal, it was also necessary for the storyline, as by taking on the responsibility of killing Sophia, Rick fully embraces his leadership role. He doesn't ask anyone else to make the difficult decision or take action, he just does it himself. This shows us that he understands the gravity of leadership within this world, and sometimes that means making the most painful decisions that others just can't carry out. And this is when we see him truly embrace the Rick-tatorship. Sophia's death was a pivotal death in involving Rick, and it's the very moment he stops trying to make all sides happy and starts doing what's best for himself and the survival of the group. Killing Sophia forces Rick to confront the growing conflict between his desire to hold on to moral values and the harsh realities of survival in this new world. It shows the audience that Rick will not just survive in this new world, but he will thrive in it. And the death of Sophia sets this up for the audience. But it not only cements Rick as a leader, but is also crucial in the development of Carol, as she evolves from a victim of abuse from her husband to a woman who has lost everything. We then slowly see her transform into a tough and witty survivor who becomes a crucial asset to the group. The death of Sophia allows the character development of so many characters, and although it was brutal, it was necessary from a storyline perspective, and does a superb job of showing us the brutalities of this new world. In conclusion, the death of Sophia is essentially the start of the horrors that we would grow accustomed to seeing within the show. It's a death that was not only unexpected, but also extremely emotional, and shattered the viewer's expectations of an eventual rescue for the child. It showed us that anyone could die, and that made the show incredibly exciting to watch. And like I talked about at the start, believe it or not, at some point every character was at danger. In season 3, the writers nearly killed off Carol after watching Negan kill Glenn and Abraham. Who really thought that Rick wouldn't eventually kill Negan in some way, shape or form in the future? And the only thing that eventually stopped this from happening was, surprise, the shock death of Carl. My point is that although not always done correctly, you can't deny that The Walking Dead has some of the most shocking deaths in TV history, and that all stems from Sophia's death in season 2 of the show. But thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's video, and I would like to thank you for the amount of support I've been receiving recently. I would also like to say a massive apology for the delay in today's video. I held a poll to find out what video you guys would like to see, and this is the topic you guys chose, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on my community polls. I would also like to say a massive thank you to my channel members, who are on screen now. It means the world, and if you too would also like to become a channel member, you can do so by joining below. But again, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.